This story started that after having had 6 years very good service out of 2 solid Ford Focuses, we decided that we wanted our next car to be something different, so we settled on a brand new Nissan Juke. Ugly design, some say, just like the original Volkswagen Beetle, but we loved it and went for a bright yellow model. At least we would never lose it in a car park. Imagine our surprise when, on collecting the car from our local Nissan dealership, we found that as part of their local customer care process, we had been offered a free visit by them to a local photographic studio for a professional photo shoot. For years, I had obtained far better natural results photographing my kids, and latterly my grandkids, than any studio using my tried and trusty Canon SLR. I had even tried my hand at selfies with my smartphone, but although that always managed to capture the moment, there was always something starkly amateurish about the result. One of our good friends had had a similar experience with a professional photographer some years ago, and the resulting images in their lounge certainly epitomized our friend's characters perfectly, and the resulting photos were certainly personal objects of art to be admired. However, we had heard from other people that although we would be entitled to one very good framed professional photo worth nearly £200, as the deal offered by the garage, the studio would take a whole range of photographs and expect us to pay a small fortune for loads and loads of shots we were not really interested in. The studio, based in the center of Milton Keynes, was certainly very efficient in arranging a time for a photo shoot for us, even offering a time slot on Sunday morning. They even suggested we should bring along changes of clothes or items that epitomized our lives and characters, such as sports equipment. When we arrived at the studio, I must admit we did have a number of preconceived reservations based on the rumors we had heard, and as we were really only looking for proper photographs of ourselves, we did not take any props as such, but laid down the ground rules that the only theme we wanted exploring was to bring out and capture the unbounded love we shared for each other after nearly 30 years together. We were also very skeptical that a total stranger could actually produce this effect for us. After all, I had spent years working with my children and grandchildren, getting to know them and taking what I would class as perfectly captured characteristics with my trusty SLR camera. Well, the photographer, this total stranger, broke down all these preconceived reservations. She made us feel totally relaxed, and after some scintillating conversation, we no longer felt like strangers, but almost like a team. Instead of what we had thought was going to be a series of stilted and posed portraits, the whole photo shoot dissolved into one great hour of fun for the 3 of us. There were no stilted poses, just a load of really waxy positions and expressions. Who would have thought that laying on the studio floor, not just next to each other, but with one of us upside down, would have produced such fantastic creations? Okay, there were also a collection of more formal shots, but the whole hour-long shoot was full of laughter and happiness, and an experience not to be missed. We still had this reservation of being chastised into buying a load of photos we just had not budgeted for. However, when we went back later to examine the result of this hour of fun, we were not just pleased with most of the photographs, but we found that the photographer had done such a good job on our requested theme of showing our love for each other that we were both highly emotional and close to tears when we saw the results. But there was no hard sell at this follow-up meeting. Well, at least not from the photographer anyway. We had to admit that they had done a brilliant job, and although it was not in our budget at that time, we would definitely be returning within 6 months to take away a selection of what can only be classed as works of art in our eyes. Definitely. It would seem that a good camera in the hands of an experienced photographer will always produce outstanding results that no selfie could ever capture, and it was an experience we would highly recommend to all of our friends.